The United Democratic Movement, Bantu Holomisa, says there should be a unity government which should take over and run the country until 2024. In a tweet, he said the ANC government should hand over power to the Constitutional Court, which would handle the situation. Well, Bantu Holomisa joins us now. Mr. Holomisa, good afternoon to you. Why do you want a coup?
Good afternoon. It's funny, you are the second person to talk about or mention the word coup this morning. Earlier, Minister Begitele said, "Hey, General, I suspect that you are suffering from a coup mentality." On a serious note, we have witnessed how the discipline has, lack of discipline has affected the service delivery on the ground, because the ANC ruling party or the ruling party is still having their own problems from within. Unfortunately, these problems tend to permeate to other sectors of our civil society, and including the running of the state. So the threat of civil disobedience by some ANC members against their fellow comrades doesn't bode well for this country's future. Therefore, we need to have a plan B in the event that they will carry on such civil disobedience. We have seen their former president openly defying the government and even the courts of this country, even the highest court. So we are not taking it that this campaign of disobedience is a joke. So we need to be on standby and be ready when it comes. So that's why we are saying, forget that ANC will self-correct itself. We still have a commission of inquiry by Judge Zondo, which is going to publish its findings. If we had an interim government, that interim government would be tasked, among other things, to implement the findings of such a commission. It cannot be implemented under the present leadership of the ANC, because I dare say the chances are that all of them at the executive level might be affected.
Okay, Mr. Holomisa, I mean, I realize that you're the leader of an opposition party and you'd like to have a go at the governing party. That's fine. It's part of the rules of the game. But let's just go through a few things here. I mean, who would be the leader of an interim government? Would you be available?
I would suggest that we don't involve the current parties. Instead, we should leave the members of parliament to do the work in parliament, and that the executive is replaced completely by people chosen from civil society, and that the Constitutional Court should preside on such a plan, to make sure that in line with the Constitution of the country at least. But we cannot fold our arms when people continue to loot resources. Just recently, the Minister Mandashe made an announcement to the effect that a certain consortium, 32 or something like that, which includes an ANC investment companies, Tebe Investment and Batu Trust, are part of that. There were no tenders for that. Okay. So even before Judge Zondo has closed the file of ESCOM, they are continuing to loot the resources for their party and also for their leaders.
Okay,
we can't allow that.
Mr. Holomisa, I mean, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that we should surely, because one group of people on your version have become corrupt. I mean, if you take power away from people who've been democratically elected, I use the phrase coup, it is a coup. I mean, we'll be kicked out of the African Union. I mean, it would be a joke.
No, there have been interim governments elsewhere. That's why I'm saying...
But that's where the government of the day has given up power. The government of the day is not going to give up power here.
We say, my brother, let us discuss this matter. And this is occasioned by the threat from the same government you claim that it was elected by the people. They were elected to run the country and deliver the services for the people. Instead, what they did, they looted the resources. Was that part of the mandate?
Well, I mean, there'd been a pretty strong, I mean, you could argue that the ANC was elected partially on its track record. However you view that track record as a leader of an opposition party doesn't really matter. People knew what they were voting into power, and it's their democratic right to do that.
But right now, the situation doesn't augur well. We are saying if they are going to embark on a civil disobedience as people who were elected to run the country, we have a right to say, oh, let's pause. Must we see people destroying the infrastructure and do what they are planning to do as reported in the city press yesterday? No.
Okay. Mr. Holomisa, I mean, this is about corruption, right? People who protect corruption, people who enable corruption, people who sometimes, you know, get involved in politics when it comes to corruption. So people involved in politics, sometimes they play political games with corruption. I mean, all of these things happen. Is that your main argument?
Is part of that. But right now, the main threat is that the ANC is imploding. And half of them are saying, we rather go and cause havoc in the streets. That will affect us. That will affect the image of this country. That will affect the service delivery.
Okay. But Mr. Holomisa, I'm afraid to say, but haven't you played some of these games too? I mean, the public protector has been seen by many people as taking sides within the ANC. You defended her in Parliament.
Yes, I said in Parliament that we will present our side of the story. We know that the public protector, the laws or the regulations which were made just targeting her, and that's a bad law. And these laws or regulations they have produced have got a retrospective effect. That's not right.
Well, hold on. This is a situation where, I mean, you will know the people who were on the panel the people on the panel found there was evidence of, the phrase was, prima facie evidence of sustained incompetence and misconduct. You're now defending someone should stay in that position despite this prima facie evidence of sustained incompetence and misconduct, and you're claiming not to play a part in protecting corruption.
No, we cannot sing the same same song even if things are not right. The same public protector has asked the government to give them money in order to employ competent staff, and you cannot expect that the public protector would compile those reports alone.
But this is a person who met with a former President Jacob Zuma when he was president in the Reserve Bank case. You'll know the case, the CX case around ABSA. She met with the State Security Department. I mean, she had no reason to do that. The Constitutional Court has made findings against her, and yet you still defend her. The point I'm making, Mr. Holomisa, and let me put it plainly, if I may, is that you say we need to take a step that we've never seen in our democratic history, and we should remove, abolish, withdraw, take away our democratically elected government and form a government of national unity that does not involve anyone who was actually elected. That's your argument. It's a very strong thing to say, and yet I think the accusation could be made that you've been playing politics with corruption too. You could have just abstained, is the point.
No, you see, you must wait for me to make my presentation when we are in Parliament on this. Why I say this is a bad law which you have done in terms of legal principles. So wait until I make my presentation.
Okay, I'll wait for you to make your presentation. Will you in the presentation say that she should still not be the public protector and that she's a poor public protector? Or do you believe she's a good public protector, but you believe that, or do you believe that she's a bad public protector and this is a bad law? Both of those things can be.
We need answers from the ruling party or the sponsor of the motion. Why are they making a bad law targeting an individual? Where were these regulations for Chapter 9 institutions before? Wait until we get there.
Bantu Holomisa, I appreciate the time, sir. I'm sure that I won't be the last person to put the phrase about a coup d'etat to you. The leader of the United Democratic Movement, Bantu Holomisa. Thank you very much indeed.